What is up, my friends? I want to dive into a raw dialogue, a really powerful discussion, I believe, on fear. Now, I tried to make this once, but this is such an expansive topic where we could go into so many different tangents that I almost just want to get the conversation started here, in the sense that our relationship with fear truly determines our level of fulfillment, like actualizing our potential, our level of success in the world, whatever that may look like for you. Our relationship with fear determines that. Our relationship with fear determines our ability to transform. Our relationship with fear determines our ability to manifest anything out here. And, you know, fear rules us on such an unconscious level because it creates all the illusions that you fight with. So we're gonna get kind of philosophical, but I do just want to dive into just like some raw narrative on fear and how we can transmute that, how we can identify it, how we can discern it, right? And how we can like move within it and be greater than it. So, hell yeah. If you guys want to work with me, free one-on-one consultations, you can apply, link in the description, but let's move on. First thing I want to say is that we were born into fear. We were born into sin, and fear is the shackles that bind me. Like straight up, that sounds crazy, that sounds nuts, but the reason you don't make those radical shifts in your life, the things that you need to do and know you should do, is because of fear. Like fear is what chains you. It chains you and binds you up in all these different ways. And it is the chains that shackle the soul to the earth. And no one ever told us how important our relationship with fear truly is. Because our ability to identify fear, move within it, transmute and overcome it, right? We develop deeper capacities, a deeper light into our consciousness. We also develop freedom of the soul. Like literally how you conquer fear, how you go about identifying, conquering, and overcoming fear is your path to freedom. Freedom from the earth and freedom from all things that block and bind you and tie you into this form that you know is not what you were meant to be. You know, like we gotta let go of who we are in order to become who we were meant to be. Some great philosopher once said that, I'm sure, like Lao Tzu, but man, that's facts. But I didn't see a little passage after that, you know, having a disclaimer. Well, in order to do that, you need to have iron trust, iron faith, and like iron self-reliance that no matter what's going down, it's okay. You're taken care of. So let's talk about transmuting fear, my friends. I might need some water. Good thing I got some snow. The opposite of fear is trust and understanding. The opposite of fear is trust and understanding. Understanding or vision brings the light, right? It brings the light like, whoa, there's such a bigger picture here. I see a lot of people out here that they're driven by constant like need for approval, fear of being rejected, fear of being confronted, fear of anything negative happening on all the different social platforms. So they become like an automaton, basically. And that's just a very basic fear that's not overcome because they have no power or realization of their self-reliance within them. And that's that trust and understanding. We can trust two things. So here we go. Let's dive into the blueprint a little bit here. It's all in my head. There's a lot, but there's connection to something greater than you. And then there's trust in yourself. There's faith and trust, right? Or like faith and understanding. And these two poles, trusting yourself, having self-reliance, right, allows you to move in this world without all these different fears everyone else is struggling with, and building self-reliance. Go read Ralph Waldo Emerson on self-reliance and realizing like, damn, when I lose my dependency to other people, when I lose my dependency to other people's thoughts, when I lose my dependency on what they even think, like when I lose that, holy shit, I'm so free. My mind is so much more free. Like I'm so much more free to be me. And I was kind of forced into that situation on my path. just because I was like kind of left home with all the bridges being burned, right? So it's just me alone, like, and I was kind of getting humiliated because of my YouTube channel and whatnot. And yeah, like that made me, like, threw me into the ringer. But I came out of that having conquered fears, gaining more freedom of soul, gaining more freedom of expression, right? And not caring so much or needing any validation from someone else. Because for a long time there, I had to validate myself, always. And that's a quality of self-reliance. That's a quality of self-trust, that your opinion is far greater than, like, you know, anything going on out here, that you can be a stone in the hurricane. The winds be blowing around you, but you're unmoved because you trust yourself. The other pole that transmutes fear is connection to something greater than you. And I've been having a lot of powerful coaching calls, and the last three have come down to connection to something greater than you. This not only allows you to move more powerfully, to invoke like greater depths of energy, but a connection to something like greater, whether it be God or like spirit, that tangible thing, and ever growing that, increasing like your understanding and that connection everywhere in your life. That allows you to let go. You know what I mean? There's so many egos out here. There's so many people in this hustle till you make it, you know, like ego-centric world right now, that think that they need to control everything. So they get stressed about everything. Everything is fucking with their mind, right? And they have no foundation to transmute that fear, because we can't control anything. What's gonna happen in the next moment, a year from now, a day from now, who knows? And they're trying to be in control of that, right? And this creates a lot of fear, a lot of fight or flight in the body. And this gets into a huge point. Something I've really been working with people on is, you know, feeling tired, feeling so out of it, adrenal fatigue, like lack of inspiration, lack of like fullness, or at least being all right on this journey. And I love working with people on this topic, because that's something I've always really struggled with. And I've been realizing that if we lack that trust and faith, if we lack that self-reliance and a connection to something greater, like this is such a valid argument for a connection to God in one sense, is that you don't live in fight or flight as much. At the end of the day, you can give it all up. You can be like, you know what? I'm giving it all up to you. I'm gonna let you move in me. I can't do it alone. I know I can't do it alone. I tried so many times. I tried so hard, right? Like I burnt out to the highest nth degree, you know, just lost it all. And at that point, you know, I think that's to some variation, that's on everybody's path. The thing that gets you through that, and the reason that happens, is that you can cultivate a great sense of, you know what, dude, this is not all in my hands. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be self-reliant, I'm gonna take care of myself, and I'm not gonna fear all these like bullshit things that consume everyone else's mind all day. I'm gonna figure my way out. But ultimately, at the end of every day, I can let it all go and leave it up to God. You know what I mean? In everything I do, it's not me trying to do something, trying to control the outcome. It's me showing up prepared, and showing up and leaving all at the door, and letting the spirit move inside of me. Like that's what it's about. And that transmutes fear, because you learn to move and breathe and lean into anxiety, lean into the fear, right? Because you know you're growing. And this is getting into the relationship with fear itself. But yeah, that's really crucial. Those two poles, trust, understanding, and then faith. Those two poles help you transmute a lot of fears. And I would say the most major element and why fear is such a fickle, powerful, dark thing in our lives, is it doesn't allow us to transform. It doesn't allow us to fully like transform. And I would say the only way you can get to a place where you're comfortable moving in intense fear, where you can actually identify it, even discern that, right? And like have enough trust and faith to allow yourself to die, essentially. Allow yourself to be reborn. To get there, I think we need to practice. I think we need to practice and cultivate our relationship, our response, right? And our comfortability almost in the uncomfortable, in the fear. So how do we do that? I would just say, just for the time of this video, really it comes down to breath. It comes down to breath. And you're reprogramming your response to uncomfortability. Reprogramming your response to, you know, like fucking shaking things up, triggering some landmines, right? And the reason we don't want to do this, especially on a grander level, is because we fear to the highest nth degree anything that challenges or will shake up our identity, right? Anything that has the potential to, you know, throw our train off our long-term trajectory of what goals we want, right? We're not going to try that. We're not going to do that. Because that has a chance, you know, to affect my reality long-term, and like I don't want that happening. Yet you're just living in a place that you want to escape anyway. And anything that challenges our identity or our sense of self, anything we identify with, like your strongest quality maybe, like that, you have so much fear around letting yourself transform, because that's going to have to die. That's going to have to transmute into something new. And to build this, I guess, this fortitude within fear is to learn in the small situations. You know, you're on a client call, or you're on your entrepreneurial venture, and you're getting in touch with small businesses around you or whatnot. Like when you feel that fear coming up because you're about to go into that room with like the 3 bosses, and you're gonna ask for something you're gonna ask for a high ass price, something that even makes you a little bit frightened, right? You're gonna be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like, no is the worst that could happen. How can we reframe our perspective? How can we reframe the perspective to see this shit from a broader picture, a higher picture, right? And then furthermore, how can we cultivate a sense that, you know what, whenever I'm feeling that uncomfortability, when that fear starts to rise, I'm like, hell yeah, it's time to grow. Hell yeah, it's time to shatter one more shackle on my path to freedom. And that's truly what is happening when we identify fear and we lean into that shit. I was talking to someone the other day, this woman, and the question was, is there any moments in your life that massive, like, that was just a turning point, a massive change? She thought about it for a second, and no, it's been really calm. You know, almost, I forget if she said mundane, but it's been really calm. And I'm just like, damn, we have no rhetoric, we have no understanding that we're the ones who are supposed to shake shit up. That we're the ones that are, like, you know, supposed to, like, wow, this is how I'm gonna grow. This is how I'm gonna live the fuck out of life. This is how I'm gonna become who I'm meant to be. This is how I'm gonna become strong. This is how I'm gonna build the fortitude so that one day I can go through the final initiation, the door of death, and be reborn into the man I was meant to be. Like, that is our relationship with fear. That is what it's meant to be. And it's conquering at every step, like, or seeking it out, literally seeking it out. In relationships, for instance, I know this is just tangent after tangent, but I'm going to post this video anyway because I love you guys. This is just a hard thing to speak on until I gather my thoughts. But in relationships, like, practicing radical honesty, you know, confronting one another, like, especially in a significant relationship like that I've, you know, been experiencing for the past few months, I would say the number one thing that has added to the intimacy, that has added to the depth of the connection, that has, like, basically solidified the relationship in a strong foundation, right, is both of us coming in, understanding that we're here to grow, that we're a team, okay? And that in order to get to where we want to be, we're gonna have to uncover a lot of shit we don't want to see. We're gonna have to like, break through a lot of the chains that bind thee. You know what I mean? And having that understanding and coming into it like that, man, there's so much fear for men, I think, in really just like going deep into their yin, going deep into themselves, and like really unlocking a lot of doors in there, because we're so like in the world oftentimes. And you know, like unlocking greater depths within you, creating space to be honest about things, like creating space to have those uncomfortable conversations, because those give birth to the intimacy, those give birth to truth. A lot of people, they just pussyfoot, they dally on the surface, right? Never really want to dive in. They don't want to dive into like, yo, why am I really acting this way? They don't want to dive in and look at their shadow. But like when you do that in a space with someone else, right? And you both understand that we're gonna have fear, where it's gonna be uncomfortable. We're gonna be addressing different things and growing through it. And this is not all the time. But like having that narrative, having that rhetoric allows for a greater relationship and greater evolution and unfoldment of self. And it's a relationship with fear and the intention and the intentionality of how you address that and even seek it out. I had one more really good point I wanted to speak on. Oh, invoking the warrior archetype. The first virtue of them all, and the one that protects every other virtue is courage, is valiance, the valiant soul. Without courage, like I don't care how much, you know, modesty, how much moderation, temperance, you know, alignment with nature you have. Without courage, you're not going to be able to face the many trials that come up in life. And then you're going to compensate. You're going to run and avoid, right? And then you're going to build a life based on lies, because you didn't conquer nor defeat the dragon when you saw it lift its head. And like, this is what we should have been told from day one. Welcome to Earth. Crazy shit goes down here. Like, your lot that's expected for you, I don't care about all this new age manifestation bullshit. Your lot out here is trudging. You're gonna have to go through a lot of different things. There's gonna be a lot of different trials and initiations and tests on your path. And if we're not cultivating a sense of courage, and courage is the ability to feel fear, let it grow, let it blossom, breathe into that shit and lean in and still move, right? And still move with power. Like not even like half of you, but actually like your full being within the fear. That's what courage is. And if we had that narrative, if we understood that, yeah, like courage is a really important quality, because courage is gonna let me grow and unlock me, like set me free finally. You know what I mean? That's courage. And yeah, it's the first quality of the soul. And it's also the I guess the aspect of the warrior. If we have 4 archetypes, you know, for men, I'm not sure the mature archetypes for women, but I'm sure they apply in the same exact way. Is we have our magi, our magician over here. That's one pole. We have our lover over here. That's another pole. That's like the creative energy right there. Then we have a horizontal axis from our warrior to our king, okay? And the ascent of the soul. Wow, this is getting intuitive right now, right here. The ascent of the soul is through the courage of the warrior to rise through the balance of the creative waters of the magi and the lover, right? The muse and the wanderer. to rise through that with courage, right? To unlock your king. Your king is on the top. That's the sovereign within you, the king or queen within you. That's the mature, fully embodied, fully integrated archetype, right? That you are moving towards. And that's the ascent of the soul as we move there. And that ascent of the soul goes down through the courage to face greater and greater obstacles. The deeper you get into your own consciousness, I only got 7 seconds. My friends, thanks so much for joining me. Let me know where we want to go deeper. Let's